Hello, my name is Joseph Wallace. I'm the CEO of Arachim. Arachim being a very large kiruv organization operating worldwide. Its main operation is in Israel, but we operate in various countries throughout Europe, North America, South Africa, Asia. The main purpose of this organization is bringing Jews back to uh, Jewish style life. And I myself am a product of such an organization. I went through a seminar that the organization did 35 years ago. And basically, the whole structure of the organization is based on the seminar system. 35 years ago, I went to such a system, to a seminar. It was first seminar that was done by the organization. It was like a test case seminar. And I went in as a non-frum Jew, secular, and came out from a little bit of a background. My parents are both Holocaust survivors. They were married off right after the Holocaust. They were liberated in Germany, Dachau, were married by the Kloisenberg Rebbe. And although they both came from very Orthodox families, fathers from Poland, mother from Hungary, I grew up secular in Israel. And at the age of about 12 and a half, they decided to immigrate to the United States. When they came to America, they decided to move to the Bronx, New York, and grew up in the Bronx. Went to junior high school, and had very little connection with Jewish style life. Of course, did not keep Shabbat or anything of that sort. I went to City College, graduated in engineering, got married in America to an American girl, Sandra Wallace, today. She's Sandra Milstein. And after I got married, we moved to Israel. Served in the Israeli army, rather in the Israeli Air Force for about 4.5 years. Ended up as a captain. Went through the war of attrition, Yom Kippur War. And when I was discharged, we decided to move back to America, moved to Los Angeles, and started a business in Los Angeles, basically on military aircraft parts. Did very well, and after about 3.5 years of business, decided to move back to Israel and continue this type of business in Israel. Did very well, bought a house in Ra'anana, had 3 sons, and lived a very nice, comfortable life, successful business and so on. And one day, I made a change. What brought about the change? Short story. I went to a restaurant to buy some non-kosher meat for my family, takeout food. And when I was standing there in line to buy that type of meat for my family, I recalled a story that I heard at home, but never really absorbed it, as we say. The story about my grandfather, who at the last day of the war was tested by the Germans in front of all the survivors of that specific concentration camp. He was given a piece of pork meat, and the SS officer in charge, right at the day of liberation, just before they were liberated, he took the piece of pork and he took my grandfather and he told him, if you want to be freed with everyone else, and he did this in front of all the other survivors, you must eat this piece of pork. And if you eat it, you'll be freed with everyone else. But if you won't eat it, you'll be the last one to die in camp. And he pulled out a gun and he pointed at his face. And he told him, make a decision real quick. If you eat it, you'll go home with everyone else. You'll see your wife, your children. And if you won't eat it, you'll be the last one to die in camp. This was the day of liberation, just before the Germans left the camp. And he said he won't eat it. And they shot him. That's how my grandfather died. And that story came to my mind, or rather I recalled that story when I was standing there in line to buy that food for my family. In a way, I was in a shock, although I knew that story at the time. But the contradiction of standing there in line in Eretz Israel and buying with my own money, when I can eat anything I want, the same type of food, meat, non-kosher meat, that my grandfather died for at the Day of Liberation. The fact that he acted in such a way, in such contradiction to what is happening with me, brought me to a point that I just stepped out of the line. I didn't buy, but I started investigating what in the world made my grandfather die under such conditions at the Day of Liberation. And how in the world is it possible for me, my grandson, his grandson, does such an opposite move, and he buys the same thing for his children? I stepped on a line, I didn't buy, started thinking, and eventually I went to that seminar. The reason I went to that seminar was that I wanted to find out what made my grandfather make such a decision. And I figured that the only way to find an answer to that was if I learned more about Judaism, and that's why I went to that seminar, with no intentions of becoming a full Yid. At the end of the seminar, I made a decision that I'm going to transform my life and become full. And it wasn't easy. My wife didn't go along so easy with me. My children weren't that cooperative. We had families, we had business relationships and so on. It was a very difficult move. But I took that move, and eventually the whole family joined. And as a result of what has happened to me, I decided to change my goal in life. In order to continue in my business, I figured that the best thing I could do, that the best way for me to thank Hashem for the change that I made, is to do the same thing in running this organization. And I joined immediately the organization, which was very, very small at that time, 35 years ago, and decided that the best way to do the best business in the world is to run such an organization and develop it and introduce Yiddishkeit to Yidden, to Jews all over the world in every language possible, and give them the right follow-up and support. And eventually it became an organization which I had today, which is one of the largest cure organizations in the world. We work with many other organizations, various countries, various languages, and today that's what the goal of my life. And eventually I hope that it will be so successful that we won't need that anymore, because the Mashiach will come, all Jews will become full, and we can close shop. So that's my goal, closing shop. That's about it.